All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here. Hopefully, during some of your lunch hours, or we're able to make time to meet up with us. We appreciate you attending this social media studio call or webinar, and for the opportunity that we have to share with you the best practices around social media today. As normal, or as in prior times, we do have Lindsay Tompkins, who most of you are familiar with, if not all of you, who is our social media guru, our expert. Who has been taking you through several different training courses throughout the past, I would say 6 months, maybe a year. And we're excited to have her present today to us on how to create content that drives results. Just to preempt the call a little bit, if you're not already familiar with it, we're talking about how, or this all ties back into the social media studio. So that is a suite of tools that are part of the Manatech Plus Premium app. So that's the paid version of the Manatech Plus app. So when you subscribe to that, you have access to the social media studio. That can be accessed through your back office or on your mobile phone. So once you've subscribed, in your quick links, you'll see that there is a social media studio hot link or a hyperlink that will take you straight into the desktop version of the platform. So after you subscribe, you can actually see that pops up in there. So we're also thankful to have Raquel with us on the call. So she is the expert within the development of the platform, and also the customer care lead or head of that department, so that she is very intimate with the platform and can answer any questions about that as we get further into the call. But thank you, Raquel. Raquel is under the weather today, so we may only hear from her in the chat, or but thank you for joining us, Raquel. But without further ado, I will turn the time over to Lindsay, who is going to take us through today's presentation.
Thanks, Ben. And Lindsay is also double crossing her fingers that her dog stops barking and whining right now, because of course he's not done that all day long. And now that I'm with all of you, he's craving that attention. So welcome, everyone. It's so great to see so many of your familiar faces. Today, we're going to be talking about how to create a content that drives results. So I want to hear from you guys in the chat. How many of you utilize any type of plan for social media? Is it spaghetti against the wall? Are you just posting when you feel empowered and motivated? Or do you have some form of a plan driving you? Just want to hear from you guys in the chat about that. Soggy spaghetti, says Joe Ellen. I love that. And do you know what's cool? There's a lot to be learned from soggy spaghetti, right? And so, don't look at it if you're like, Lindsay, I'm not doing a plan. I do not have a structure to this. That's all I've been doing. Know that you can use what you've already done as a starting point, right? You can go back and go what worked well, what didn't, and you can adjust. So it's still a great starting point. We got a marginal plan from Tony. Great. Don't worry, we're going to talk about lots of stuff today. So I always have trouble with going through. Well, we have Mr. Ben here, Mr. Ben Mayo. He already did a little intro. So I'm just going to scoot by these photos of us, even though we do look very handsome and beautiful in these pictures. We have Raquel. Here you guys go. All right. So we are going to be talking about some of these different things today. Number one, why a content plan can take your social media to the next level. It is important to have a focus in mind. That way we know how to move forward. We know that everything we're doing is building out the vision that we have for our business, and we can actually measure our success, right? It turns social media into an income producing activity instead of just something fun to do. While it's still very fun to do, we want to make sure that it's still driving towards our main goals. How to create a content plan. We're going to talk about how the social media studio can help you in that. And then we can, if time allows, we can do some Q&A. All right. Chrissy said I'm doing some of the pre-done ones from Social Media Studio. Amazing. That's why it is there for you. It takes so much of the guesswork out of it. And it's really great too for adding in those promotional posts. And then all you have to worry about is more of your branding ones and allowing people to get to know you, which we're going to talk about. Okay, so moving my chat box out of the way, a content plan is a path to a more successful social media marketing. To succeed on social, you need to not only be inspiring, but also consistent. This is something that I have said a number of times on our Saturday trainings, or when I was even on Wednesdays there for a little bit, is that at the end of the day, if social media is something that is new to you, or is something that you're not really comfortable or familiar with, or you're still, testing it out, your number one goal is not to be successful on the platform. Your number one goal is to be consistent on the platform. When we go in thinking this just needs to be amazing, I need every post to do well, what do? Right? We overthink things. When they don't work, we go, well, this is failing. So we stop doing it altogether. We get too wrapped up in what's going on there, and the engagement and the reach and the follows. When truth be told, you're going to have posts that do well. You're going to have some that don't do well. It's all always just adjusting and testing. But like I said, if you're new to this, it's not about how can I knock this out of the park. It's how can I keep showing up to the park? How can I create a habit out of this? How can I learn the platform? Before our friends went to Costa Rica, I was at Sona's house actually, and we were doing some planning for 2022 for social media training. And we set her up on Instagram because even Miss Sona did not have Instagram, and she did not know how to post. She didn't know how to add stories, anything like that. And she was getting really focused on, but what should I be posting? What should I be saying? And I said, try not to worry so much about that. Just worry more about being consistent. Show up there every single day. Post a story every single day. It's going to build your confidence in using the platform, especially for business. So I just want to preface that today with, even though we're talking about building out a social media plan and being very intentional about it, if you're not using the social media studio, your goal every day should be to use the social media studio, right? Don't let yourself get so bogged down by every little detail. Okay, so let's look at some statistics. I love statistics, so thank you, Raquel, for bringing some of these to our attention. So by investing into content on social media, it can bring you more intentional business. It can bring you more sales. It can bring you more conversions. As I've heard me say it before, we're not looking for followers. We're looking for what? You guys can throw that word in the chat. I am not looking for followers. I am looking for ends and eads. We're looking for leads. We want to have conversions. Exactly, Joelle. And we want to actually be turning social media into an income producing activity, not just something that we are spending our time on. So 54% of social media users research products and services on social. They're looking for the solutions to their problems. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment. And then 62% of US internet users shop online more now than pre-COVID-19. How many of you in the chat, you can even throw a little hand up, how many of you now shop more online now that we've gone through COVID and we're coming out the other side of it than you did before? Right? Most of us. We know a lot of businesses as well have brought their businesses online that they weren't before. I was talking to my mom yesterday on the phone, and she was like, give me 1 second, I'm just finishing my Instacart order. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, are you still buying all your groceries online? And she's like, it's so much easier. My mom, and I know Joelle, and you can probably relate to this. My mom's a caregiver of my dad. And she's like, it's hard to leave him alone. And I rather just be able to do everything online. It gets delivered to me. It's so much easier. My mom brought a brand new vehicle 2 months ago, and it has 40 kilometers on it. She's like, I've driven to the corner and back pretty much. And so a lot of us are spending more and more time online. And this is important, right? Because if we haven't spent a lot of our business pre-COVID building up social media platforms, we know that the world is very different right now, right? And so some people have gone completely back to normal. Other people have varying degrees of comfortability. I have some friends that aren't quite comfortable yet being in close situations with other people. And if my friends and family, some of them still have a bit of a resistance, my customers may be too. They may not want to invite me into their home or come to an event that I'm hosting, right? So they may be trying to still keep their bubble small. And this is why it's really important that we do show up intentionally online. And so when we have that plan, it can become more strategic, and it's not, what did Joellen say? Soggy spaghetti. All right. So having a proper social media content plan can help with a few different things. So let's talk about those. Number one, optimizing your social media efforts. I think we've already kind of talked about this, that it's not going to be just throwing spaghetti against the wall. It's not going to be this, oh shoot, I didn't post today. I need to go post something for the sake of posting, right? It's not just about, oh, I should be putting something here. It's what am I putting here? And what is the action that this post is going to create with my followers, with my community, with my leads, right? And so, like I said, it becomes more of an income producing activity versus something that's just really fun. I think a lot of us, we can get lost on social media, a lot of scrolling, and convince ourselves that we put a lot of work in, right? We just go, oh, I was doing some social monitoring and listening today, just doing some research. But it's important that we actually move into action. We talked about this on Emerge yesterday. Also, to maintain consistency, right? So we want to be showing up consistent, not just for the algorithm, not just for our business, but for the way that our customers perceive us. Have you ever gone to somebody's social media page, maybe their Facebook business page or their Instagram page, and it's middle of July? And you go to look on their page, and the last post that they have is from the holiday season, from Christmas. What do you assume about that business? Write it in the chat. What is maybe one of the first things that come to mind when you see somebody hasn't posted in months? Hopefully that the page is dead. Not that they're dead, Joellen, but perhaps, right? They're closed. They're not in business anymore. And especially in this industry in network marketing, when all the time people are considering us as a place to get their products from, but also, oh, Charles, at my age, that is my first thought. That is funny. But so not only like, maybe I can't get my products from here anymore. Remember, when you interact with people in the network marketing industry, 50%, write that down, 50%, we know, we've seen the studies, 50% of people consider doing what you do. When you interact with people that meet you in business settings like events or home parties or online, and they know that you're in business for yourself and it's something that they can join, the Direct Sales Association put out a survey, 50% of people consider doing what you do. And if they're considering doing what you do and they go to your page to connect, and I see that Joellen hasn't posted it, is she the leader that I want to connect with? Is she the person that I'm going to go, I'm just going to, try and chase her down and see where she's at because I really want to sign under her? No, do what they do. They do a quick search in the Facebook search bar or on Google and they find somebody else. It is so quick that we can lose people online. And that's why it's important to be consistent and to show up. You also want to be genuine and various. So what we mean by various is showing various different types of content, right? And sometimes when we're not planning ahead, we can't see what it is that we're missing, right? If we're just posting every single day, you may reflect back on some of your social media today and go, oh, wow, in the last 2 weeks, I've only posted about the product. I haven't talked about me at all. I certainly haven't talked about the business opportunity. I haven't shared any tutorials or recipes. They've just kind of been promo posts. When you are taking the time to plan in advance, you get this bird's eye view, right? How many of you use a calendar or a planner, like a paper, like sort of date book? Any of you use that? So yes. So the ones I love are the ones that have the month at a glance, and then also you have the days. When I don't use the month at a glance, oftentimes I just get stuck in what I'm doing day to day. And someone will say, hey, Lindsay, do you want to go for dinner next Friday? And I open up to my date book and I see Fridays available. And I say, sure, I have that day free. But when I don't look at the monthly view, I may realize, wow, that Friday is actually the only night that I have off. I wish that I would have said no, because I know that I need some downtime in my calendar. When we're only focusing on day to day, we don't see the whole picture. And we need to see the whole picture. And that's why I love having some form of a content plan. It can be, very strict and have all your posts ready to go, or it can at least be even a loose plan of, on Tuesday, I'm going to post recipes. On Wednesdays, I'm going to post a wellness fact. On Thursdays, I want to post about me. On Fridays, I want to talk about fitness. You can even just, take each day of the week and sort of brand it with some form of intention or a content pillar, right? And so that you know that you're covering all the bases. But if you just think day to day, a lot of those details can be lost. And then, of course, you get to track your goals. You get to see what is working. When you have a plan, you get to adjust that plan, right? If you just drive around and get your car and drive around aimlessly, you don't know where you're going. And if you happen to, find where you went, you don't know how to take a better route the next time because you can't even remember how it is you got there, right? But if you follow a plan and you go, do you know what? Even though this one was a little bit quicker, I had to use the highway. So I'm going to switch it up to go over here. You have more information. Information is power. Write that down. Information is power. What's important about that is even if the information you are gathering is, wow, none of my social media posts are working, it's still power. It's still information to make a better decision next time. There's no failures, there's just growth. On Saturday, I told everyone, don't be afraid to go on social media. If you click the wrong button, the phone's not going to blow up, right? We get to recalculate. And that's what I love about content plans. I shared this on a previous call, but it's my favorite sort of little analogy. You get in a car and you use the GPS. How many of you use GPS? It's a pretty sophisticated piece of equipment. It can tell you if there's traffic somewhere. It can say there's construction on this road. It's pretty sophisticated and high tech. Even though it's telling you what to do every single step of the way, how many of you have ever turned left when you were supposed to turn right? Right? Me. What does your GPS say to you? Type it in the chat. Recalculating. It doesn't say, Lindsay, you're a big loser, go home. It doesn't tell you to just quit. It just says recalculating. And a plan lets you do that because you're able to see, how can I get back on track? Because I'm able to see when I've even deviated from that plan. So let's talk about some different ways that you can create this content plan and get some of these results. So I want you all to answer these 6 questions. Ben, is there a way, do we share these slides with them? Maybe they can come back to this, or even if you guys want to grab your phone and take a little photo of this. Yeah, Ben?
So I can put it in the chat, but all of this presentations are saved on socialmedia-studio.com, so they can go back and watch it, and also the deck is there as well.
Perfect, because I want you all to come back to this, right? Showing up today is not just about getting training, it's about moving into action. And so getting into action is going to be answering these 6 questions. Number 1, who is your content for? Who is it that you're trying to reach? We've talked about how to create a niche market before. And yesterday, actually on Emerge, we did some coaching sessions, and I coached both Sharon and Diane kind of about their niche market, but specifically Sharon. And I said, tell me your story. What's your story? What's your Manitech story? Why are you so passionate about this? What lights you up? And for her, it was the True Health System, and she had lost 70 pounds, right? And so she was really passionate about talking about fat loss. And so we were able to pinpoint, she wants to connect with other people who are wanting to go on that journey, people that she can support in that way. So you want to make sure that you have a specific person in mind. I've said this before, okay? I know that it can feel limiting. We go, but Lindsay, I have so many things to talk about. But Lindsay, I have so many people that I want to reach. That's what's great about Manitech, is that the product really is great for everybody, right? I say that as I have 2 things of Mana Bears literally beside me. They're for kids, but they're also for Lindsay, right? They're great for everybody. But the way that social media works, we need to play the game. And the algorithm wants highly targeted followers or leads with highly specific content, right? So if I'm following Ben on social media and he's talking about something I'm interested in, and I'm his ideal market, I'm engaging. Social media, Facebook, Instagram's going, wow, Lindsay's engaging with Ben's content. Let's continue to show her Ben's content, his posts. But say he goes, do you know what? I'm going to start talking about something totally different to a different group of people just because I want to get more information out there. Now, let's say I see a post that's for the 60 plus range, and I'm not 60 plus, so I don't what? Engage with the post. Every time you're not engaging, that person's content is deprioritizing in your feed. And so the chances of me continuing to see Ben's content become smaller and smaller. And so even though we think that we're limiting ourselves, we're really not, right? Because there's millions of people in a specific niche market. And when you have other things to talk about, that happens in your what conversations, your follow-up conversations, in your Facebook community, when you have people that already trust you and you're able to have more conversations in in-person events. But on social media, when you're doing that front-facing marketing, so content on your business pages, your personal page, on your Instagram account, these need to speak to a specific market. So ask yourself, who is this for? Number two, where will you publish your content? Where do you want that to live? Facebook and Instagram, probably for most of us, right? You have to look at that because that's going to tell you what type of content you should have. Number three, what problem does your content solve? So I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago on Saturday, we talked about problem and solution aware followers and leads. If you guys were there, maybe you'll remember that. And so the difference between those two, just to kind of recap for those of you who weren't there, is a problem aware follower is somebody who knows they have a problem, but they have no idea what the solution is or that you are the solution. So those are people that know maybe they have a problem with their gut health, but they're not aware that Manatech and your business could serve them in that. A solution aware follower knows that you and Manatech are the solution to their problems. They know exactly why what you offer is going to help them. What I see a lot of times on social media with small business owners that have physical products is they focus mainly on solution aware. You assume that everybody knows why Manatech is amazing and why they need your product, and we only share product shots all of the time. You have to also talk about the problems. You do have to say, hey, does this sound like you? Right? Or, hey, let's talk about gut health. We did a post on the corporate Instagram page, and it was a reel, and it was somebody sharing some red flags about gut health. It was, do you bloat when you drink water, for example? This could be a sign of poor gut health. She listed off a few different things. Why is that important? Number one, not everyone knows if they have a problem. They don't understand what gut health even means. So if you're only talking to people who are aware of the solution, maybe those are people who've done the work, right? They know exactly what's going on in their body. Maybe they've been to the doctors. They know exactly what type of product they're looking for. That's going to be a quick and easy sale, right? But if you're wanting to find more customers and followers online, you do have to weave in that problem aware content. Talk about what is gut health. And here are some signs and symptoms that you may not have optimal gut health. And then that gets people going, oh, this really sounds like me. I have this problem. I'm interested in this account. And then in another post, you can hit them right after with a solution-oriented post. So you're saying, hey, does this sound like you? People are saying, yes, it does. And you're saying, great. Here's what I have. How many of you get annoyed when you walk into a store and they like come right up to you and they start talking about the sales and they're pushing products in your face? You're like, I just want to look around. They do a lot better when they come to service you and they say, hey, is there anything I can help you with today? What are you shopping for? Right? What if they're saying, what's your problem? They're saying, I have a wedding this weekend and I need a dress. That's my problem. Well, great. Let me bring you to our section of dresses. Right? They lead with the problem, not the solution. People are resistant to the solution if they don't even know they have the problem in the first place. A content plan is going to also help you see, am I doing both of those types of posts? Am I solving something? So get specific about what problem that is for you. I also want you to ask yourself, why is your business different? Why Manatech? Think about your story. Why did you choose Manatech's products? Why did you choose this business? Write it out. Sometimes we think all the answers are in the science or in the marketing materials or in the trainings. It's in your story. That is how you connect with people. Yesterday, we walked through a coaching session with Diane, and she said, I want to get my elevator pitch down pat, and I want it to feel authentic to me. She said, but I haven't had a big transformation like other people. I haven't lost a bunch of weight. I haven't, accomplished this or that. And I said, tell me your Manitech story. And she said, well, my son and my husband needed some support, and somebody introduced me to these products. They took them, they thrived. And I just thought, like, I need to tell people about this. And I was like, so your connection is being heart-centered. Your connection is being like the matriarch of a family, of being a mom. Like, I want to provide my family with the best products. I care so much about them. I would never give them something that would put their health at jeopardy. I said to her, how many moms do you think you could connect with that message? Moms, we're always, people, they buy for the other people before they ever buy even for themselves. They're more concerned with other people's problems and not even themselves. And so I said, that's your story. And that's who you connect with. You connect with moms who are loving on their families. And you have this quest to find the best solution for the people you love. And that's what you lead with. So write out your story. That is what makes you and your business different. Ask how you'll deliver that message, right? And look at your strengths. Do you love speaking? Do you love talking? Then maybe, excuse me, you'll want to utilize video. You'll want to utilize spoken word, right? Or maybe you like doing photos. Yesterday, I asked Sharon this. How do you want to deliver it? She said, I don't know. And I said, have you ever had certain types of content in the past be successful? She said, well, my before and after photos definitely got me the most amount of engagement and interest. Because she said, should I do a video? Should I do a written post? Should I do before and afters? I said, well, what's worked for you? Well, that's worked. I said, great, let's do more of that then. Ask yourself, what's worked for me in the past and what do I enjoy doing? What's going to be successful? A content plan that's going to be successful for one person doesn't necessarily copy and paste and create the same result for you. You have to look at, who am I? What is my story? And how do I want to present that? And then how will you create that content? Right? If it's video, I love the social media studio. It is like having a personalized Canva. For those of you that know Canva, even sometimes I'll find myself going into Canva to create something for Manitech. And I think to myself, like, what am I doing? This is creating 10 times more work for me over here, because I can actually just go into the social media studio and the products are all there. I can take a product and put it on an image. I can take the logos. There's so many already done things that majority of the time I think that I need to go create a post from scratch, when in reality, it's already there and available for me. I'm creating more work for myself. And so how am I going to create that? Start in the studio. Fill in your content plan and then look where the holes are and go, do you know what? Maybe I can sprinkle in some videos in and around here. And then maybe if something pops, out to me or catches my eye on social media, maybe it's a quote that really resonates with me, I'm going to reshare that. Or I saw somebody else in Manitech post this amazing post and I asked them, hey, do you mind if I share this with my followers? Maybe Sharon posts her before and after photo and you want to share that on your own page, right? But start from the studio, build out the main sort of chunks and then add in, right? The rest of it. The rest of it is details. It's sprinkling in you. Who am I? And how can I show up, right? Even when we were talking about True Health a few months ago or weeks ago, whenever that was, everyone was just posting the products, posting the information. I said, where are you in this? Show me what a day looks like for you. Walk me through what you ate in that day. Walk me through how much water you drank. Did you get in any movement? Did you go on a walk? I want to see if I can do this. So show me you. Show me how you're the one that's inspiring. Show me why I want to follow you. So our content should really help us do these three main things. We want to attract, we want to engage, and we want to delight. So when we're talking about attract, this is capturing our audience's attention with high interest content, right? So this is our current audience, and then also helping us find new followers and new people. And we can do that through our content, through blogging, through video. If you want to do any advertisements, I know a lot of us aren't into SEO, some of us are, but it's how do I find new people and attract them to what I'm doing? That's going to be more of the what? Problem aware content. Do you think people watch television shows because they like the commercials? They're like, ooh, so exciting, a commercial. I'm so excited to be sold to. No, but people watch the commercials when they're pulled into the content of the television show, right? They listen on the radio to music, and then there's advertisements in the middle of there. We have to think about our content in the same way. Would you pick up a magazine where every single page was just an advertisement? No, you could see an advertisement for a product and just flip by it, but they could do an article on the solution for migraines, and you go, wow, I get migraines, I need to read this, right? That's going to attract you to it. You pick up the magazine because of the headlines on it. So think about your social media in that way. From there, we want to engage. So engagement is a metric that we want to pay attention to. Are our posts creating engagement? Are they creating conversations, right? And so ways that we can do that, any sort of marketing automation. So on Saturdays, we're going to get to it soon. We're actually going to talk about a platform called ManyChat that you can actually use to set up so that when someone sends you a message on Facebook or Instagram, it can get into an automated conversation. You don't even have to be there. It's super simple, right? But we can also look at live chats, comments on posts, getting feedback from people, other people sharing your content. We want to create conversations. It's not just about being on the soapbox. So our content needs to create some of that engagement. How do I make sure my content creates engagement? Easiest way, ask questions. Maybe you're going to share the recipe for the, oh my gosh, I just forgot, the Oso latte, right? Maybe you're going to share that recipe. Ask them, what type of milk do you like to put in your latte? Are you a coconut milk? Are you an almond milk? Are you cow's milk or oat milk or soy milk, right? Ask a question. People want to be in conversation. Look at your post and go, I don't know why nobody's commenting on it. Did you ask a question? Did you leave room for feedback? Were you creating and starting a conversation, or were you just saying a statement? Right? That's what we need to look at too when we're looking at the overall plan. And then for delight, we want to continue to provide an outstanding experience and turn your customer into your admirer. This is where we get into more of that solution aware followers, right? Because they know, they're like, I'll buy whatever Joellen tells me to because I trust her. Because she's let me get to know her. I've seen what her day looks like. She's shared that authentically online. She's talked about her story, what she's overcome. She's talked about why she's so passionate about this. And I really relate to her in a lot of ways. We build that KLT factor. I'll put it in the chat, KLT. Do you remember what this stands for? Know, like, and trust. That is our focus when we are trying to delight and continue to engage. How do we do that? Through our content, right? We allow people to get to know us through our personal branding, creating events, experiences. We create exclusive offers, maybe for certain types of people, maybe everyone in your Facebook group. If you're active on Instagram and you go, but I want to get more people in my Facebook group. Maybe you go on Instagram and you say, hey, for everyone who's one of my really special community members in my Facebook group, I'm doing this exclusive offer, or I'm doing this free webinar just for people in my group. You're letting them feel special and that they're a part of something. It's a cultural thing, right? And then you get to also utilize marketing automation too to help foster some of those really deep connections, and then use your analytics to help lead you in what it is you need to be doing and improving on. Okay, so 5 steps to create a content plan. Number 1, you got to set your goals, right? What is my goal? But it's okay. Again, I'm going to reiterate that if your goal at the beginning is just to be consistent, right? Start small. I'm reading a book right now by BJ Foggs called Tiny Habits. It's amazing. He uses an example of if somebody wants to floss their teeth, right? They're like, I need to get in a better habit of flossing my teeth every day. He goes, your goal is to floss one tooth. That's it. Start with one. Anything else is a bonus, but just one. He talks about the easier things are, the more likely we are to do them, because we go, well, even if we're running late, it's one tooth. I can get that done. Right? I don't have to wash all the dishes. I just need to start with one. And you build the habit. And so if you haven't been consistent on social media, it's okay. If your goal is, I'm going to post every day and be consistent. Number 2, analyze your audience. Look at who you have. If you're on Instagram, you can go to Instagram. You can go to your profile. If you go to the insights button, you can tap that. And you can, obviously it's not working for me right now. Oh, because I have my phone on airplane mode, so nobody bugs me. If we click on insights, we're able to learn more about our audience. I'm able to see what's the average age, where do they come from, what times are they most likely online. I get to learn more information about the people that follow me. And a lot of times that can really help you zone in on what type of content to share.
And to also step in here, that's the demographics. If you're wanting to understand who's following you and exactly what you said, you can do that in Social Media Studio in the Analytics tab. So it makes it even easier if you're not, super familiar with the socials.
That is an amazing point, because I know that for a lot of people, Instagram changes their buttons every other day. They move them around. You think you finally figured it out, and you go on and there's an update and you're like, I gotta just spend today, reclimatizing myself or reorienting myself to this space. And so stick to the studio, right? You know where that is. And then you're able to see your analytics in the same browser that you can be creating your content. You're not juggling between a laptop and a phone and an iPad just to try to figure out what you should post. It's all there in that one spot. Okay. Decide on your content types. We already kind of talked about that. And define your posting schedule. The key is to be consistent, right? That means, but we're starting small for some of us. If you're going to post once a week right now, you better be consistent at posting once a week. If you're going to do twice a week or 4 times a week, be consistent in that. Instagram, Facebook, the algorithm actually rewards consistency. It looks at that and it goes, wow, we don't know too much about the algorithm, only what they share. But we do know that if you go every Thursday, I'm going to go live, or I'm doing a motivational post every single Monday, and you're doing it consistently, the algorithm rewards you for that. It rewards you for your own engagement with your own page. So be consistent. Decide what is going to be my posting schedule. I want to post 4 days a week. Pick what those are and do that consistently. You can always build up to more and more over time. Okay, so number 1, setting up your goals. Let's just go through these a little bit more in depth. So there are essentially 5 goals that content plan can help you achieve. So develop brand awareness. That is going to be, why me? Why me? And who am I? Right? What is Manatech? What is my business? Having that goal is going to make sure that you build that know, like, and trust factor. It'll drive more traffic to your networks and website. It'll help you generate sales leads. It will help you convert those leads into customers, and it'll help improve customer retention and driving upsells. I think retention is something we definitely do not talk about enough. It is easier to sell over and over again to a trusted customer who's already did that exchange with you than to constantly be finding new ones, right? Those of us who have a hard time with follow-up, it's typically what I hear is because they're afraid to be overly salesy. They're like, well, they just bought from me, Lindsay. I feel bad following up 30 days later. I'm like, do you know what's more salesy and spammy and icky than following up with someone, taking someone's money and never talking to them again? that is ickier. That is what's going to make people be like, I don't want to do business with that person. The Direct Sales Association did another study where they contacted customers of network marketers and direct sellers and asked, why don't you continue to purchase from a direct seller? Number one answer, I never heard from them again. It has nothing to do with they don't like your product. They don't like you. They didn't see success with the product. They thought it was too expensive. They this, that, or the other thing. Number one answer, I didn't hear from them again. The amount of money that is left on the table because you don't go ask. Do you know what they do when you don't follow up after they've finished maybe OSP, for example? Do you know what they go do? They go to a health food store in their city or town and they buy whatever they can find that they think can even slightly resemble it because you didn't follow up with them again. They change brands. They work with new people, right? And so having those goals is going to help you because you can go, okay, one of my goals is retention. Okay, so how is that going to play out in my content? We all know about SMART goals, so we'll kind of go through this quickly. You want to make sure that the goals you're setting for social are specific, right? Make them tiny. Go read that book, Tiny Habits by BJ Foggs. It's great. I saw Joella nodding when I said it earlier, so I think she's read it. Make them measurable. So, I want to increase my engagement by 10%. I want to try to get 10 new followers this month, right? Having something to work towards is going to keep you motivated towards it. Make sure it's achievable. If you only have 100 followers, don't say, I want to triple my followers this month. Just, I'd like to make 3 new connections, right? And I like that word too, even more than followers. I want to make 3 new connections because at the end of the day, people can follow you all day long, but it doesn't mean anything. They're a follower, they're not a lead, right? You want them to be relevant, so they need to align with your current values and objectives, and time bound. Set a realistic deadline for yourself. What I love about content planning too is that you can look at this on a monthly and quarterly basis, as well as an entire year, right? But you can sit down and plan out for the entire month. Ben and I and the team, we meet every 2 weeks to just talk about what's coming up. What do we want to be doing on social media? We talk about what's working, what's not working, right? We adjust, we're flexible. We're not married to anything because we're open to everything. Because it's not about just posting for the sake of posting. It's about creating actual real results and helping you guys with the brand awareness to build your business. So an example here of what that might look like for all of us. So a specific goal, what is that goal? So for example, building my personal brand on social media. I will achieve that by consistent posting of lifestyle and engaging content. So those more question posts that allow space for feedback, that will help me stand out as an expert mixed with relevant posts about services I provide. I was talking to a top leader at another company yesterday, and she said, Lindsay, I'm struggling on social media, talking about the product. If you could give me one piece of advice, what would that be? And I said, focus less on trying to just build your business and focus more on trying to be a thought leader, about being an expert in your space, because you'll diversify your content that way. If you're only focused on the business, you're just going to post business posts over and over again, and you're going to lose people, right? We need to see that diversity of content. And so I think about yourself as a thought leader. You are an expert. What is your mission? What is your passion? And what do you want to change? Let's look at measurable. So how will I measure my progress? Evidence, higher engagement rates. Maybe you have more online visibility. You have higher consumer trust. You realize that the more you post, the easier it is to get upsells. The longer that people are, they're re-signing every month with you. They're continuing their orders, right? Because they have more trust for you. You have more sales, more followers. Achievable. Do I have the skills and the resources for it? This is important. Maybe you go, I want to be an expert in gut health, but you don't have the story to support it, or you don't really actually know too much about it. Think about your own story, right? We talked about Sharon as an example yesterday. She has the fat loss story. So I'm like, talk about that. You're already passionate and an expert at that. So I'm an expert in a specific area who shares their own experience and knowledge. I have my own communication channels and audience, and I'm developing my expertise. Are my goals relevant? Why is this important? With the regular social activity, I will increase my awareness and the number of clients. It's important to me, and time bound. When will I achieve the goal I've set? The timeline is 6 months. And if you don't hit those goals by 6 months, you what? Recalculate. It's not going to say you're a loser, go home. You just recalculate. Oh, my dog is poking his head up underneath the table. All right. Continuing on, analyze your audience. So study demographics, look at the insights. You can also ask your followers. A lot of times people say, Lindsay, I don't even know what to post. I'm like, then ask. Ask your clients, ask your followers. Next time you even have a follow-up call with somebody, say, hey, how could I support you better on social media? Is there something that I could provide to you online that you think would be really helpful for you? They may say, do you know what, Joellen? I love the products. I see success when I use them, but sometimes I just go on autopilot and I can't remember to take them. I think what I would really need is, I know, maybe some tips and reminders to like actually take the product. Okay, great. I'm going to start posting more about that. Maybe on Mondays, you do a live where you hop in and you show them how you organize all your supplements for the week, and you give them that inspiration to stay on track with it. It can be easy to sell a product. It's harder to get people to use the product, right? Go look under your bathroom vanity. Go look at how many products you have shoved under there as women, how many creams and perfumes and skincare and all the different things that you've bought over time and you've never used and you've totally forgotten about, right? And create an audience profile. So this is a customer avatar. We've also talked about this before in one of the social trainings. So just here's another example of how you can look at it. But it's just getting a rough estimate for who it is you're trying to reach. Because if you know specifically who you're trying to target, you'll come up with all the different types of content. So one of the things that I encouraged you guys to do before was to pick your ideal person and then walk through their entire day. What do they do in the morning? What's the first thing that they do when they wake up? Go through almost moment by moment throughout their day so you can better understand them and you can see how you can better serve them. So an example here, gender female, age 50, from Phoenix, Arizona, occupation housewife. They have 2 grown-up children. They're easygoing and talkative. That sounds like me. Interests, they love handmade things, fishing, traveling, and their pain point, they want to start traveling again after the pandemic. Right? So this is somebody that you are wanting to connect with more. And these are things that you can do some research on. But a lot of the time, I will say my best piece of advice is that typically, who do you think your ideal client's going to look like? Old you. You before the product. You before your success story. Even you 5 minutes ago. Right? Because it's easy to walk people through a journey we've already taken. And so don't overthink this. This part's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be like, oh, I need to go on Stats Canada or, whatever the equivalent of any other country of that is and go do all this intense research about all these different things. It's just who do I want to reach? Knowing their interests, knowing their personality is going to help. If this person's easygoing and talkative, then having a more casual approach to your content is going to be helpful. Hopping on video and having a conversation. If you're wanting to go over, if you're wanting to connect with someone who maybe is like very scientific, right? They're a green personality. They want to know all the information. You want someone who's very, very professional, who, more likely is going to show up in a suit every day versus jeans and a blouse or whatever. Then that is going to determine the type of content that you share as well. What's my tone of voice online? How do I speak to people, right? And so just let yourself have fun with this. Here is an example of, so Raquel, do you maybe want to, so is this an example from the social media studio?
Yes, exactly. So in the analytics tab of Social Media Studio, once you've connected your pages and started using it, you'll be able to see in this example, this is Instagram demographics. So this shows that, the average age range is like 45 to 54, and it's mostly female. So that tells you, as you just said, what tone of voice you want to use, what type of imagery you want to use. So understanding your demographics is very crucial to being successful on social because it's who you're talking to. And our platform makes it really easy to do so. You literally just click into it and that's it.
Amazing. Hold on, let me move this. I have so many things up on my screen. I have like our videos, the chat. I keep losing the little arrow button. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go through these pretty quickly. These are just some examples. Go to our Instagram, look around at some different things that we've been doing. We have a lot of amazing images. We have a photographer that's now working with us. So you're going to get access to more and more beautiful graphics for your own social pages, so you can add some more diversity to your content as well. So let's look at the different types of content types. So here we have approved suggested posts in Social Media Studio. Because what I love there's so many that's already made for you there. Again, you don't have to think about every single post. You can go there, pull the meat and potatoes of it all, and then sprinkle yourself in with your own content. And as I mentioned, sharing some user-generated content. So anything you find online that you think that you want to share. Okay. Choosing the social platforms. So starting on the platforms you understand. If you feel like you get Facebook, then focus on Facebook. You know, maybe start to explore Instagram, but just don't overwhelm yourself, because an overwhelmed person does nothing. Right? You add too much to your plate. So just start small. It's okay if it takes some time. Okay, focus on the platforms your clients use as well. Look to your current clients. Maybe next time you do a follow-up call. Hey, what's the best way to connect with you on social media, and how can I support you there? What a great question. Write that down in the chat, somebody. What social media platform are you on, and how can I best support you there? Great question to ask. It's going to help inform how you should show up online. Okay, so we have some differences here from our Instagram and our Facebook posts. Okay, you guys can go check that out, because I know we're running out of time, so we're just going to kind of skirt through. Here, obviously, we have a product review, and then over here, we have more of a lifestyle but mission-driven post, right, on the other side. So lots of different examples. So here's something simple that you could use to get started. 50% corporate materials. So you look at your plan in the month, 50% grab those posts from Social Media Studio. 40% add in your own. So in a month of 30, you're really only doing, what is that? Maybe 10 posts. Can you create 10 posts? Absolutely, for a month, right? You're going to take 15 of them from corporate, and then the other 5 you're going to use from user generated. So I'm going to go, oh, Peta Ann posted an amazing before and after. I want to go use that. Use the Manatech hashtag on Instagram and on Facebook. You'll be able to see all the posts that people have put when they've used that hashtag. You may go find something that you really want to share, and then go find 5 of those posts. So utilizing something like this, it's like having a recipe, right? It's easier to follow along. So try this out for the next month and see how that works for you. We went through this in our last call, so I'm not going to spend really any time on it. So you want to make sure that your posts are engaging, have those questions. You want some educational stuff, so some tutorials, right? Some different maybe recipes, or what is gut health, what is glyconutrients, right? Some phrases and words become so common to us because we've been in this for so long. I'm saying we, like as if I'm all with one of you, but even still, there's a lot of things that I don't know, and I have to Google and I have to look up, and I listen to conversations and I'm like, I don't know what that meant at all, right? I need the layman's terms. And remember, your followers aren't in this as much as you are. They don't know everything. And what's great about that is a lot of the time you overthink your content. You think it needs to be groundbreaking, and it will be groundbreaking to your audience. It may not be to you. It may seem so basic to you. Do you know how many times, even as a social media trainer, I've thought, oh my gosh, the slides that I'm doing today, or what I'm training today or talking about, is they're not going to be wowed by this. They already know this. It's because I know this. But then I deliver it and people go, wow, I had no idea. And it reminds me that I have to put myself in the place of my customer, of my student. It's not about me, right? It's about them. And they're further behind in the journey than I am. And so a lot of times you think you have nothing to share, you have so much to share. You have your promotional content, so actually talking about the products, the promotions. For example, the other day we had the youth bundle, the Emperor Zone and the Firm that ended, right? So that would be a promotional one, talking about that. And then lifestyle and inspiring content. Show us who you are, right? When we looked at that customer avatar, that ideal client was into handmade, fishing, and traveling. So that would be some of those lifestyle images that you put in there, because, for example, Mary Herb, she's always posting about like gardening and things like that. And she can attract people from that. And then they get introduced to her business and her products. And content formats, we talked about this 2 Saturdays ago as well. You can do pictures, videos, lives, etc. There's a lot of different content types on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, again, I'm going to quickly go through these because you guys have seen these. So educational, so how to skip grocery store stress. So there's a bunch of tips in here for you, right? Engaging content, talking about the business, hosting an event, keep going. Promotional, product, inspiring, quote posts, those always do really well. Okay, and Social Media Studio is great for all this because you get to find inspiration there. You can access and easily navigate through ready to use content, especially if you're busy, right? You want to focus on your income producing activities. Social media is important, but we're gifting as much as we can to you. So you get access to those templates, videos for promotions, and then you can create your own visuals with the graphical editor by yourself. It's literally like using Canva. You get access to so much more that's specific to your Manatech business. And then maybe Raquel, do you want to kind of walk through what they're seeing here on the screen?
Absolutely. So like you've said time and time again, this is like Canva, this is Instagram, this is like a lot of tools into one. And that's exactly what Social Media Studio is here to do. We want to make things so simple and so easy that you want to come in here, you want to see what's new, and you want to post. And this, as as Lindsay said, she talked about creating a calendar. We also have weekly and monthly views in the platform. So what we see on the screen here is a screenshot of the asset library. So this is for you to come in, find content. There's so many products, images, or templates in here for you to use and customize. And Lindsay highlighted, we don't just want product image, product image, product image. You can utilize the graphics editor that's in the platform to also create your own content and then schedule it. So it does the hard part of finding stuff to post via the asset manager, editing it to make it yours or create your own post in our graphics editor. Then you can schedule the content. And then you can also see how your analytics are performing, and that's across every social platform. So Social Media Studio is really that one-stop shop to make social media painless for you. And here you can see an example of the editor. We have a lot of the products loaded in. If you're building your own post, you can literally drag and drop it in and it's there to go.
Sorry, I muted myself because Joey was having a moment. He still kind of is. So I apologize if you guys can hear him. And then this last step of everything we just walked through, it's just deciding how often you want to post. You can mind the timing of your posts. So what we mean by that is try out different ones. Try out early morning posts, try afternoon, try in the evening, and then go back to the analytics and go, which ones are doing the best? Right? We know that typically on social media that engagement and activity increases around 9 p.m. That's kind of when it's at its peak, right? People at the end of the day, they're finally like wound down after dinner and, spending time with their family, and they're just taking that last little bit of the day to mindlessly scroll, right? And so we know that activity may be higher there, but we also know it's mindless activity. People are totally tapped out from the day. So even though you may have more people on at 9 o'clock, you may realize that actually when I post at 6 a.m., I tend to reach more people and more engaged people. because they're a little bit sharper in the morning and they're more likely to set goals in the morning, to be active in their decision making, right? Our cortisol levels are the highest in the morning, right? We start to wean off by the afternoon, right? As following the circadian rhythm, we're getting tired, we're preparing for rest. We're not, as focused on making decisions. So try those different things out. Yes, they can be scheduled ahead of time, Deanna. Absolutely. So you can kind of set them and forget them, and then just be intentional every day about going to your social media to engage with comments, right? We don't want to set it and fully forget it and never go back, because we know that even just in this presentation, that the engagement part is a really important part of the plan. It's about creating those conversations. Okay. So you can schedule in there, like perfect timing for this slide. So you can manage posting from one place to multiple social media accounts. Okay, you can approve posts that are suggested to you. You can plan and schedule ahead of time so that you can save time. Maybe, you're going on the next incentive trip, you're going to Hawaii, right? And you want to make sure that you're still
So, well, let me see. Today is Thursday.
There we go. Thank you. Today is Thursday. So let's pretend you're going to Hawaii on the next incentive trip, and you still want to make sure that you have content going out while you're there so that you can just focus on being present in Hawaii and sharing the highlights of your day and things like that. You can schedule all of that in advance so it can continue to work for you. And then you can reach more people by using that suggested best to post time. So it's really giving you all the information that you need to make a smart decision. This is an overview of what it would look like when you're scheduling your posts out. Raquel, do you want to add anything to that?
No, you're doing a great overview.
Okay, yeah, so this is what it looks like. And what I love about this too is that you can, again, it's like looking at that month at a glance or week at a glance, right? You're not just focused on the day-to-day posting. You're able to see and fill in the blanks and go, wow, there's a lot of products here. Maybe I need to put in some more about me. I want my face to pop up in a few of these. Or, oh, I see that I missed, it's Halloween. I need to make sure that I pop that in there too. So you really get to see that bird's eye view like we mentioned. Okay. And then different ways it can help: post ideas, scheduling, graphics editor, reporting. We talked about all this, but guys, this is not a paid advertisement, right? This is me genuinely sharing with you as a social media trainer and expert, especially for people that, you're just learning some different ways to market on social media. You're starting out. Utilizing the social media studio is going to make this significantly easier for you. Okay. So your goal this week, tomorrow, today, okay, is to go into the social media studio. Yes, do I want you to apply the information you learned today? Absolutely. But let's start small. Go into the social media studio. Put a reminder in your phone. Let an alarm go off in your phone every day that says, go check the studio. Go be intentional. Go click around. Remember, same thing I say about Instagram. Click the buttons in there. Nothing bad's going to happen. It's not going to blow up. It's okay, right? We're here to support you. We want to empower you, not just with information, but to take action. And so I encourage all of you to not just make showing up today that check off the list of, I did something great for my business. This is great for your business, but only if it follows with action. Only if you actually do it. So that is your goal. We want to hear from you. We want to post it in Manatech North America, or post it wherever you want. Send a message to somebody, put it in our online chat that we have, that you went on there today and that you are familiarizing yourself with the platform. And remember, your goal is to consistently do it before you even focus too much on getting into the nitty-gritty. So I know that we took up quite a bit of your time today, so we're going to skip the Q&A. But anytime, of course, you can post your questions in the Manatech North America group, tag me in them so I can get the notification, answer each other's questions. Ben is here to support you, but connect with each other, lean on each other, and just give it a go, right? And remember, it's okay to recalculate.
Thank you, Lindsay. And thank you everyone for joining us. As Lindsay mentioned, we'll wrap up just because we've gone over time today, but we look forward to touching base with you, and we'll send out a follow-up email with dates and times on the next training, but we'll look forward to seeing you here in the coming month. Thank you all.